Ice Age Collision Course, aka how many times can Scrat get anally penetrated by his nut before parents start to realise this isn't a kids' film, and you're going to be hearing a lot of this while you watch the movie.
That's no moon.
Pretty much my reaction throughout the entire film there.
Alright.
Right.
I'm going to explain it this time.
Dale this time. Okay.
So, Ice Age Collision... Oh, for God's sake. Ice Age Collision Course, aka Ice Age
twister, that title,
5, which is surprising.
There are 5 of these things.
Yeah, there are
5.
Too many.
I've seen all 4 as well before this.
There's not even 5 Shreks.
It basically takes place an undisclosed amount of time after the 4th one, which, you know, if you haven't seen the 4th one, Manny and Ellie have a daughter called Peaches who's grown up, and in this one she's getting married to another mammoth called... What is his name? Julian? Julian.
Yeah.
And he is basically, you know, the typical goofy guy. He loves his, you know, girlfriend or fiance or whatever, but he's very, like, physically inept and just kind of weird. And, you know, Manny doesn't like him because he's weird. It's the typical, you know...
Another Dwayne Johnson from
say, like...
It's Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, it's more or less.
It's Meet
just
the Fockers
with woolly mammoths.
Meets
and,
random space film.
There's other plots, like there's a plot with how Sid is desperate to find love in any shape or form it may take. Diego has a plot with his, you know, girlfriend, I guess, and they kind of want kids. It's very small, but then that's all interrupted when this giant asteroid that may or may not be hurtling towards Earth due to Scrat's actions is, you know, hurtling towards Earth, and they're kind of like, oh shit, we're screwed. But then Buck comes up from the surface, who we last saw in the 3rd one.
Played by Simon Pegg.
And he is basically like, I know a way to stop this asteroid from destroying the Earth.
God, how many characters are in this film?
And then they have to go on this journey, all of them, like a massive cast of characters, to basically save the world. And it is very, very, very long-winded to explain.
Yeah, I mean...
I fell asleep. I was that bored. I actually fell asleep in the film. It was really bad. I couldn't
keep my eyes off of it because it was just so.
I think if there was one word
Ice Age film
to describe this movie, it would be cringy. There are so many cringy moments.
It's such a shame because the first one.
God, I'm a 19-year-old guy watching this. I should be, you know, doing something else.
The first one was so good.
It was a really great film.
I used to love watching that when I was like,
I love the original Ice Age.
Yeah.
This one, like. They did a complete 180. In the first one, it's like mammals find a baby, they have to get it back to his dad.
I'm surprised
like,
this is the 5th one.
Yeah, I can roll with that. And then the second one, it was like, okay, global warming, fine, that works in a film like this. And then they went on to dinosaurs, which was like, okay, surely...
Which was way before humans.
Yeah, it's like, surely dinosaurs coming after the humans. Is that one a prequel? Like, what? It doesn't make sense. And then this one is basically... a sci-fi movie involving Scrat on a spaceship.
Well, you had number 4, which was the Continental Drift one, where
I completely forgot there was a 4th.
I think didn't Scrat somehow
shift the continent?
Yeah, and then you've got Peter Dinklage as a monkey or something.
Peter Dinklage voices.
Was he the monkey?
He voices the
but not in this one. Who was in this one? Was there any new characters?
Jessie J.
Jessie J.
Sid's love interest.
Amazing. Yeah, that scene was just crazy.
She was like, I remember saying like, we couldn't tell who she was until the credits, but Tom was like, I'm sure she's a singer, and at the end she had, you know, a musical number,
every single,
which was cringe,
bloody animated.
And then you had to wait. Neil deGrasse Tyson introduced the movie and had a cameo,
playing a weasel version of himself.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Spoiler, I guess.
Absolutely hilarious.
Who else was in it?
Just the plots in this film.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who was in a show called Modern Family that I used to watch, was Shangri-Lama, or as Jessie J says, Shangri-Lama.
Shangri-Lama. God,
very British.
It's ridiculous.
British celebrities should not be voiced.
Literally, I'm going to go out and say this. Every single thing that happens in this film, no explanation for it. There's no explanation as to why Scrat finds a spaceship in the middle of the Arctic.
He basically...
He's just like, oh look, a spaceship, I'll put my
I don't know
nut
if this
in
is
it.
a spoiler. He creates the universe in the beginning of this.
Yeah,
surely the universe has already been birthed.
The little acorn.
How much of a
little acorn from every single film that should be rotting by now. He uses as a joystick for some spaceship that he finds, and then he's like, "Oh, fly the spaceship."
And yeah, the joke in the intro. There are scenes where he's just basically getting this nut or acorn or whatever it is, just smacked into him, including in his arse, more or less.
Yeah, it's quite, you know...
In this film...
It's a bit dodgy.
Things actually go up Scrat's arse.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, you know...
Oh, doesn't there's a dino bird in it who eats Granny, the old sloth.
Bit of lore for you, ball.
And she's basically insinuates that she's going to crawl out of his arse.
Yeah, and when you see her poking from inside of him through his
I see the light.
I can see some light.
And then he covers his arse.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. You could play a drinking game while watching this film.
How many
times there's a dirty joke or a dick joke or a poo joke.
Yeah.
Every time there's
anything
there's
sexual
a gross
related.
Yeah, I think there's literally a bit where Simon Pegg...
related.
No, I'm saying there's a lot of sexual related.
Every time there's an arse or dick joke, take a drink.
There's literally
Smash Buddy in
there's a line in the script in which Simon Pegg says to another character, "Oh no, that's a turd."
He
says the word turd, which surprises.
Basically, that one line from Simon Pegg in this film summed up the entire movie for me.
Yeah.
Oh no,
that's
a turd. Yeah.
That's what I thought when I started
Speaking of those, speaking of those dino birds, in a movie where there's a giant asteroid heading towards the Earth, do you really need villains? Those dino birds with the villains. You don't need a villain. There's a giant asteroid.
They were introduced by the sing-along. I mean, that was I like that scene where Buck was singing and the birds were just like, okay, that's quite a cool.
He's kind of a jungle hero.
Yeah, I liked it. I like Buck. I think he's a cool character. But when you're putting him in this film and you give him a subplot, with these dinosaur birds. Considering you didn't even see him in the fourth film anyway, give him a subplot.
He just got on my nerves though the whole film.
And then the dinosaur birds come in at the end, and it's like, oh, that's convenient that they're in the film. Yeah.
He got on my nerves so much.
Who, Buck?
Yeah.
For me, he was the best character because everyone in this.
I liked him at the start, but then there's a bit where he's just like, "All right, are you seriously mentally insane?"
Not as bad as Jesse J.
Not as bad as Jesse J.
As the film progressed, I hated him more and more and more until I just couldn't bear it and fell asleep.
Yeah, I mean everything that happens in this film, you could just think.
There's references though. There's references to Planet of the Apes. I caught one.
That was a pretty good reference. I mean, the references are good, but kids aren't going to understand them.
There's a lot of jokes that kids won't get, but I don't even know if kids would enjoy it. Because I asked my little brother and he said he didn't want to see it.
I think it's too mental. Kids don't have surely an attention span to watch the fifth in a series with such a huge cast of characters, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, the voice acting's fine, everyone, does the best they can. Ray Romano as Manny is fine. Dennis Leary as Diego. John Leguizamo as Sid. They're all fine. But you've heard them a million times before, so it's just like they're just worn out by now. It's like it was funny hearing Sid talk the first time. John Leguizamo with a lisp, that's hilarious. Now it's just give up, man. Give up.
Sneeze.
I'm hoping this is the last Ice Age film. I was hoping for the asteroid in this film to just take out all the mammals and just be like, fine, we're done.
I kind of want to see what they do next.
Of course they survive. Spoilers.
They seem to be covering a lot of ancient historical events, world-changing events, like...
Ice Age 6, the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that
Oh
one.
my god. That would be like Ice Age 23 or something. Ice Age, the Holocaust.
Somehow they survived.
Oh my god.
They'll survive that one, trust me.
I don't even know if we should cut that out or not.
No, we should not.
You got World War Mammoth, World War Mammoth 2.
World War Mammoth.
they can cover so many historical events with Ice Age characters. You think they've covered... You've got the Ice Age, of course, which is the first one. They've covered...
It shouldn't be called Ice Age anymore.
They've covered the extinction of the dinosaurs. They've covered the separation of the continents.
And the creation of the Earth.
The creation of the universe. Not just the Earth.
If Scrat created the universe, though, I mean...
Do you know what I figured out?
Surely Earth didn't come before any other planet. I mean...
No,
they all came at the same time. How was Earth already there?
Apparently in this, Earth is the epicenter of everything.
Yeah. What I wanted to say was, Scrat is basically...
The Messiah.
No, he's basically the Minions. Like, he's that character that has no ability to speak, to formulate words. He's just there for physical comedy. But unlike the Minions, he has not become like a huge mainstream success with merchandise.
We are 100% getting a Scrat spin-off. You know it's going to happen.
Yeah, at some point.
I don't want it to happen.
That guy who makes
I'm holding on for it because you know that the Scrat spin-off is coming.
Yeah.
If there's not a sick Ice Age film, you know it's going to be Scrat the movie, and we're all going to go and see it. We're going to spend all our money, and we're going to hate it just as much, but we can't help it because the character, we know him, and it's like, we have to see more of him.
We'll be forced into seeing it. I won't want to go. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see Ice Age. But
we saw it early as well. Lucky you guys.
Exactly. We got a preview.
Oh, we're so lucky. Anyway, Ice Age Collision Course. Final thoughts.
Toss. It's just toss.
One word.
Toss.
Shit.
bollocks. Right, Ice Age Collision Course. Don't see it. I don't
Toss
recommend
shit
it.
That's the review. Toss shit bollocks. Ice Age.
Pretty much.
Right. So here's the final verdict. Don't see it. Don't look at it. Don't watch the trailer. Don't listen to the soundtrack.
Don't support this movie.
Don't support it. Don't give it any money. Don't even watch it for free. It's terrible.
Watch the first one. Buy the first one. Watch that. That's when it started and stopped being good.
I'll never be able to recommend this film because
I wouldn't recommend it to children.
It's terrible. I wouldn't recommend it to children. Wouldn't recommend it to adults. Wouldn't recommend it to an ant.
Yeah.
Ice Age Collision Course. One of the worst films of 2016. Well done, Blue Sky Entertainment.
It's a space station.